Yeah, me too.
Okay, welcome. I'm the figment of Joan. She's in Springfield, and then I know she's delivering a big Bernita log iron in Arkansas as well. So she's got multi things to do. Today we have a guest with us. Shelby is in the back. She's a student, and she's in the fashion design program at Johnson County College. Currently on sabbatical, looking at the quilting side rather than the fashion design side. And so she is thinking about whether or not an AccuQuilt is something viable for her studio. So what I thought would be interesting is for each of you to introduce yourselves and tell why you have an AccuQuilt. And we'll start with you, Sarah.
My name is Sarah. I have an AccuQuilt because my mom raved about it, and I don't necessarily like to cut out all the little things, and so you can just put the stuff through and come out perfect little pieces. So I like it to be perfect, easier perfect, faster perfect. It's awesome. The non-perfect, imperfect comes from me. There, I had enough of that.
I'm Hannah, and I was the one that was raving about it because Vicki introduced it to me. And I was so tired of, because I have several strip dies too, but trying to cut, and then you go,
Yeah.
So making perfect strips, perfect blocks, and all these little pieces, you don't have to keep, so, yeah, I like it. But I like bigger pieces better than little.
Yeah. And I'm Ruth, and I've been doing AccuQuilt probably for 4 years maybe. And I started out with the Ready, Set, Go because it had your 8-inch cube, and it had your cutter, and it had everything to get started.
That's what I started with.
Yeah, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it in making a lot of things. And it is easy once you get going with it and you get kind of involved. I used to watch a lot of AccuQuilt on the website, the shows with AccuQuilt, but I don't have the time now to do that.
Because you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, but I like to watch it once in a while just to get ideas. And the lady that, what are their names? Erica, Pam and
Heller.
Pam Heller was here for a class, and I went to that, and it was nice meeting her. And, they're so fun to watch. But I've been picking up other things on YouTube. The other night I was talking, last night I guess it was, they make this lady was making strips of scraps, fabrics, and she had like a interfacing that was on a roll, like a 2.5 jelly roll. And it's called something scrap. Anyway, it's a base, and you sew your, pieces and make sure that they're over 2.5 inches, and you can lay them on there however you want on the strips, and then you put a solid strip in between, and you can make a scrappy quilt out of it.
Oh,
and it was so easy and so cute, and you can make it big or however you want. It comes on a roll. It's called scrappy tape, I think it's called. Now I have to look for it. It comes in 5 inches and 2.5 inches. I don't remember the lady's name that did it, but anyway, I just thought I'd mention that.
You were showing Scrappy. Somebody had taken scraps and sewn them all together, and then they cut out animal shapes, so then your
Yeah.
animals were all scrappy.
That's kind of like collaging. Yeah. Crumbing, yeah. Crumb quilts.
I'm Carol. I haven't really, I've been coming, but I haven't done that much with it, but I do like the fact that the strips, you can get nice straight strips instead of having the V in the middle. You open it up. It makes it easier to do your bindings.
Oh, and then if you put them through
Oh, for log cabin too.
and if you put it through
The other
the other
way.
way, you get nice blocks or rectangles or whatever you need.
I'm Lori, and ditto everything everybody else said. the strip cutters are probably what I use the most because, like they were just mentioning, not only do you cut the strips the long ways, but then you can put your fabric the other way and make your squares or your diamonds on the 45-degree, and I think that's 60, but I've always used the 45. But anyway, it makes cutting so much faster and more accurate. My quilting has become more accurate since I've started using that. Plus, I have quite a few of the applique dies. And I love those because those can go for gifts for so many people and make a quick, small project. And you're done, and they love it. And it doesn't have to always be fabric. I've cut a lot of other stuff out of it too, and it works wonderful, so.
I love that.
I'm Jane. I've had I started with the Go Big, and that's what I'd recommend for anybody, but if it's in your budget, I guess. But, yeah, I've had mine 11 years or so. I use it just about every day. It's, say the strip dies are you just gotta buy them all, that's just all there is. And then I've got the cubes and those, but lately I've been a little more into I find patterns and I convert it to where I can use AccuQuilt to make it, and that really makes a difference. And I love how fast I can cut something out. I mean, 6 layers, boom, you're done. And so it's a blessing to have one. It really is.
Yeah, I can't cut straight, so I know this is gonna help with that.
Oh, those strip dies, you just use those constantly. And the thing of it is, I cut my borders lengthwise. You buy a 3-yard piece of fabric, you lay that on there lengthwise, and by the time you fold it, you can cut that whole 3-yard strip.
I've done that before.
Yeah, I use that too.
Do that a lot. That is, cause you know, that cutting a long border by hand, you're gonna end up
Sewing them
longer.
together.
Yeah. Makes
Ironing is hard. I mean, you know, you gotta press it and everything when you do your binding, but I made one, well, I used 2 inches on this one and 2.5 on this one. And, cause I didn't have enough, I don't remember, I think I had some 2-inch strips or something. But you can do either one, 2 or 2.5.
Right.
And I have the 1.5 and the 2.5, and they're the most ones that I used. Now I
2
have-
1/4.
Yeah, I don't have the 2 1/4.
Yeah.
We have it up there.
Good job, Nick. Yeah, good job.
My husband, as he left, he says, now Patty told me to tell you that she's not buying anything today.
Yeah, we left, he was so cute. We're introducing each other and telling why we like the AccuQuilt for our quilt studio.
Okay, I'm Sherry, and I'm kind of a newbie. I've got one, but I haven't really worked a project yet, so that's
So
why
you
I
just-
thought I'd join this and kind of push me to
Yeah.
to use it.
So, welcome. Shelby is new as well.
Hi.
And then Judy?
Well, the thing I love, and I ponder over a lot, are all of the dies out here. And trying to figure out what I can do with them, but then also how to take different pieces and parts from the different dies in order to make something different. Oh, I'm Judy, by the way. And but I love that. I love the 2.5-inch strip die. I use that a lot. My AccuQuilt is on, and I've got a big, and it's on my sewing table all the time. All the time.
Absolutely mine.
Yeah, I got
Mine's
the
on
liner on the edge, and I can use it all the time.
Mine's on a storage unit thing.
Mine has its own little workstation set up.
Yeah, I decided if I can't use AccuQuilt, I'm not making a quilt.
Yeah, you get to that point.
Because it really makes a difference. The 2 things that I would say, in addition to everyone else, is that it cuts off the corners of your triangles, for one, and you don't have to do that. And it makes a perfect, it shows you where your perfect 1/4 inch is on that as well. And then, one thing that I always had trouble with was squaring up blocks. That was my just not something I enjoy doing. And so I found I never do that anymore because the blocks come out perfect if I have a perfect 1/4 seam on my sewing machine. And so that saves me a lot of time. And I think for all of us, it saves time and also wear and tear on your body because constantly cutting and, you know, it's so much easier, especially with the electric. The electric is my favorite. Now we have show and tell. I know you brought something.
Yeah, I did my blocks, I caught up from last, and I didn't do a very good job, but, you know, I think the hardest part is those strips that you sew on the edges. That's where I'm having more trouble. See the points.
Right.
Those are difficult, and I didn't even mess taking it out, but, because once it's quilted, you won't even see it, but I really struggle with those angles, because so you can see how, you know.
Yes.
So this one turned out better. I could match it up easier, but I do a lot of
That's the
pinning.
one
That looks great.
I do a
That's the
lot of
one
pinning.
I'm struggling with.
Then this is the same die, one of the blocks that we did, and I made a dresser scarf for our dresser. And I needed something to cover because I have a lot of stuff on it. And so I just finished this one. And I just used scraps that I had left over from another quilt. And I kind of have the stars in my bedroom anyway. And then the prairie star is on a pillow on the bed. So it kind of coordinated. But I just finished this one and I love it. I thought it turned out really cute.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you show
And
the
then-
camera?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And then she was showing the Tuesday night show, and I did the heart one.
Oh.
I bought that pattern, and I thought it turned out cute. And I did my own embroidery on it. My machine does a lot of things, so I found the hearts and did it down the middle and scalloped and just kind of did my own thing with it. So that's it.
It's pretty.
That is pretty. Thanks, Ruth.
You bet.
Do you have anything? Anybody else have show and tell?
Mom, do you have one?
No, because my last 2 blocks I've unsewn as much as I've sewn.
I'm so behind. Here's block number 3.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That
that's
turned out
cute.
good.
Yay, that's lovely.
I've been super occupied with other things, so I'm trying to get to them.
Oh, that looks great. I love it.
That would be driving me crazy if I was that far behind.
You know, I've got all sorts of behinds, but that's all right.
Yeah,
She's
it
been
is.
doing a lot of quilting.
And
Right.
garment stuff, so.
Yeah.
Lori?
This is not related to this class, but I use AccuQuilt for part of this. This is a row by row that our quilt guild did.
Oh, I love the stripes.
And I did my row was the butterfly row up here, and then Ginger has an AccuQuilt. She did the square and the square, and then the other ladies, I don't know what they did for sure, but each of us did a row. We had to give our fabric, and then each month it went to another person, and they did it. So anyway, this is due in March, so I haven't worked on these. I've been working on this because I have to have it turned in and out.
Yeah, we have a time for it.
But, so anyway, that's what this is, and I use like AccuQuilt to cut all the piano keys and my borders, my sashing, whatever, and like I said, this is a AccuQuilt butterfly.
Love the stripe border.
I do too, that pops.
Really? Yep, that
Thank you.
binding, it looks great. I love the black and white.
Can you see it?
No, she can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
That's beautiful.
Seen it up close. Yeah, that came out really good. Of course, Lori does so well with colors. She's super good at that.
And the back is beautiful. Love the back.
She always finds a back that picks up colors of her top.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Did your guild quilt that?
Did I quilt it? No.
Did the guild?
No.
No.
One of the, Linda Van Divna quilted it. She's in our guild, but
Okay.
it's this will be part of the show. Our guild's having a show, March 15th and 16th. And they're putting in the row by row quilts that we did And they're also having the Beatles challenge. We had a Beatles challenge for the Beatles anniversary this year. And so those quilts will be in.
Where is that, Lori?
March 15th and 16th.
Is it the Overland Park one?
It's at Village on Antioch Church, 151st in Antioch.
Okay, I heard about that one.
Yeah, that's it.
But I didn't hear
second, I know.
I might have to copy that.
They're gonna have,
You can take a picture with your phone if you
Yeah,
want
that's.
to.
they're gonna do a penny boot, or a penny
13th
lane
to
boutique.
15th.
In
Which
which,
deal?
oh,
You wanna
15th, sorry.
take a picture?
Blue Valley Quilt Guild.
Blue Valley
Yeah,
Quilt
okay.
Bill.
Sherry, you have the phone, you could just take a picture of that, that's the advertisement.
Yeah, I want to take a picture of that.
Okay. There's your details.
I'll take a picture. I wrote it down somewhere, but where my brain is.
Yeah, well, one of the gals, Susan, comes here normally on with us today. She's working at a workshop today. They're making bags for the boutique. I forget what's the pattern of that bag?
I don't remember.
Are they zippered bags?
Yeah, some kind of a zipper bag.
Yeah, some kind of zipper bag.
Can I borrow your something? I wanted to, I know some of you are not up to date on your blogs, which is quite all right, but I just wanted to let you know that when you get to block 12, there's a major error in block 12. If you would write,
Block 12.
block 12.
Oh, I don't.
Last
I'll
one.
let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one.
Okay.
And if you've already done it,
I
just
haven't.
disregard. Okay. When you get to E, the parts for E, the four dark patches, the 4 light patches, you should also have 4 blue patches. And she just left it off. I'll pass this, I wrote it on.
Yeah, you wrote it on mine.
And I'll just pass this.
Oh, that'd be great, then we can copy it.
Oh,
down.
yours is,
I've been right.
yours, okay. Yeah, so you can write it down. It's
Why
matches.
There aren't enough pitch.
Well,
there
she
weren't.
left off the blue patches.
You can't hardly see the color.
So you need 4 blue patches.
Which blue?
What-
The square one.
What number?
It's the,
The dark blue?
no, not the dark, the
Medium blue?
medium,
It's that
The
The
colonial,
the colonial.
but where is it in the pattern? There's only one in the middle. That's
It's
why I
not the
didn't.
square. It's not the square, it's up
Step
here.
6.
It's up here on E, it's the E's.
Oh,
See this
right.
color right here? See, you can't hardly tell.
Must be these ones right here, around the square.
Yeah, it's the
It's the
lightest
little
color.
guys.
It's the little,
Guys.
these little ones.
Little tiny pieces.
Those little blues. Yeah.
This is.
And I think
Oh, here,
Yeah.
Okay,
and I think I did mine different.
I think
Because I
mine's
used this
different.
particular.
Does everybody understand which little pieces I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah.
I've written it down.
Yeah.
Cause I got there, and I don't have enough pieces.
Oh, somebody wrote this on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's these
Okay.
pieces that
Alright,
weren't shown.
you got it? Show and tell.
She's pointing to this.
Well,
It's this color, I don't know. That's the last one. This is
Oh.
13.
I don't know.
Here's the color.
Yeah, it's 11 and 12.
You need 4, there's 3 different colors of E. If you look at it.
I've only got 2.
but in the pattern, there's 3.
Oh, it's these little pieces.
Yeah, those tiny,
Those
tiny little
ah.
pieces.
Right here.
I got it.
My mom and my sister got me
So,
Can I
a
take a
small
picture
quilter
of your-
embroidery
yeah.
machine for Christmas.
And,
I'm learning that right now. I'm in the process.
Yeah, Mr. Show and Tell. Okay, Judy has a show and tell for us.
This is the block we're talking about.
gorgeous. That turned out really cute.
Thank you.
Yes.
And,
Love the colors.
yeah, thank you. And then this is the backgammon board.
Yeah.
Oh,
That turned out good too.
That
it
Thank
is.
you.
That's exactly what that looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the one that has 120 pieces.
Yes,
zoom in on
it? Yeah.
Anything
Yeah, I
you
have
want.
the ones that I did. There's mine.
Oh, that's pretty.
That is
There's
gorgeous.
Ooh, I like those colors.
Oh, is that the right one?
Yeah, those are the ones we just did.
Yeah, these are the ones that we did, 11 and 12.
Pretty.
Is that your St. Patty's?
That's kind of what it looks like.
That's the color.
Here's my, oh, you want to, these are 11 and 12. It's amazing how much different they look.
Oh, it's just
With the
amazing.
different
That's what I
colors.
Yeah,
thought.
with the different colors.
It's just like how the black turned out.
Yeah.
You know, because if you look at, this is the block that I, did. Well, it's a little different, but.
Yeah, it's
It's
amazing.
one of them.
Now,
Where's the pattern that people were passing around that has the correction on
I
it?
gave it back to.
Oh, can we practice it back here?
Okay.
All right, this is your next block.
Hold on.
This is block 13. It now, if you notice, if you look at this block, it's kind of similar in regards to how many pieces there are. So the way I finished this, which I thought was, well, I like to finish things so that it's faster. I did all these first, of course, and then I did segments of 2s. So I just sewed everything together, this square with this, and made 2s, 2s, and 2s. And then I did 4s, 4s, and 4s, and then the 6s.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I did this one, and it went together really quickly. And the other one that I haven't quite finished, but everybody has trouble with
Yes.
this shape
Oh,
right
yeah.
here. I have found the minute I see these, I look to see where the point goes.
Mm-hmm.
So with this one, the point was up here, but the points of these were down here. So when I look at the pattern piece itself, the straight edge is always on the outside.
Yeah.
You're only sewing the curved edge or the to it. So then I'll place them out. But these I think came out pretty well. Sometimes I get the ridges, when it's because it's so biased.
Mm-hmm.
Now on this shape, which is also for your next project, this is the block 14. You have these. So now the point is up here, but the big pieces are down here. So,
Can you hold it up?
yeah. So you have an awful lot. Now, I will say that when you get to sewing through this seam right here, you need a hump jumper or pulling through because truly it will stop right here because it's so thick. I'll pass this around so you can kind of feel it. But it's a gorgeous block. It's going to be a gorgeous block, but it's real similar in feel to this one. It just has thicker seams, it seems, than this one did.
Just takes lots of practice.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I just didn't quite get that one finished. I ran out of parts.
I know. Sometimes I'm getting to the end.
Yeah, I ran out of ease, so I had to cut more ease last night at home.
I found that one when I was doing this one, and then I realized I did it wrong. So it's like, oh well, it's gonna stay where it is.
But we only
I have this part, I've taken apart and taken apart because I get these turned around
Yeah,
and I
Yes.
have my,
I have
Yeah.
to really lay them down and pin them. When I'm picking them up, I pin the edge that needs to be sewed.
yeah, and I thought I
Because-
was,
I know. I do the same thing.
I have to take the pattern and actually, because I'm really challenged by angles. So what I normally do is like this piece here. Well, when I do this, first of all, I find this piece and find the point. Because again, if you look at these, sometimes the bigger pieces, you don't know which is the pointed part because they're, you have points. So you find the widest part then stick that point down and know that your other piece has to have its point at the point. But it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's difficult. But if you get the points right, you'll be fine. And always remember the straight edge is on the outside. That helped me immensely when I finally figured that out. So that's next week. Now, the next month is our last month for this particular quilt. So we're going to have a new start. And some of you have probably already seen what we're going to be doing. But this is going to be the next project.
Oh my gosh.
That is busy.
It is very busy, and there are a lot of pieces in this one.
Looks like Kansas Troubles.
Yeah, she used, I don't remember which line she did use.
She said the 8-inch cube.
It's
The angles.
Yeah,
and
it's the
the
8-inch
and the
cube and
borders.
the borders and angles. And the kit price is $159, which includes the binding.
How big is the quilt?
The quilt is 88 by 88.
That's a good size.
Yeah,
Queen.
that would be a queen, yes. Now, if you make it with a 6-inch cube, it's 66 by 66. If you make it with a 4-inch cube, it's 44 by 44. And don't even think about the 12-inch cube. So it'd be huge. But this is going to be our project for the next time.
And how many months is it? How many sessions is it?
I asked her that, and she hasn't determined that, but I would say it'd be about 10, if I were guessing, because that's an awful lot. That's a big quilt.
Can you cast it back so we can see it closer?
Yeah, I'm gonna just, yeah. It's called Denim Diamonds. And it's really quite beautiful. So that'll be starting in April. So that'll be the next quilt.
You're shaking your head. That's a lot of piecing.
Well, we will definitely be using our AccuQuilt to its fullest measure on that quilt.
Well, and I like that initially when we get the pattern, you can cut them all out at once
Yes.
and bag them.
Yeah.
And then it saves so much time.
Yeah, and we are not kidding
Picking
that.
colors.
We every month. That is going to be the kit price as you get all the
All
yardage.
the fabric at once.
All the yardage at once. So. And she hasn't worked out all of the, she's still reworking some of the yardages because one of them didn't work out right, so.
Yeah.
So
It's busy.
I think it makes it easier, having done it both ways with the kit every week and the cutting it. Because I really like seeing what all is to come.
Yeah.
And then having it done and just taking your machine out and getting it cut. And then,
It makes it a lot more manageable to do it by block.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got all your pieces at the end and
Yeah.
you have to put it together. But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I did this one.
and then this is off just an announcement. I don't know whether some of you know, this is officially the embroidery month. So two of the companies that we represent have specials going on right now. One is Bernina. They have 48 months, 0% financing from now to the 17th. And Brother has 60% 0% financing from now until the 19th on the embroidery machines, anything 3,000 or more. So that's kind of exciting news. It's always fun embroidering. And then another thing that some of you may know is that I happened to be with Kay Facet for a whole week. I was in Tucson, Arizona, the last week of January up till February 2nd at the Tonke Verde Ranch, which is a premier ranch in the heart of Tucson. Has 195 horses, which we saw every day, and we had these fabulous rooms, but we got to be with Kafe and his partner Brandon for 5 days. and doing all sorts of things. And so basically it was a color workshop. I didn't make a quilt, but he wanted us to learn the techniques of color and how he designs. And so I brought my portfolio of the things that we did. And basically, we painted and we cut little fabric, little paper pieces to make all of these different things. We always had a theme. He would tell us exactly what he wanted us to do for the day. He said, today, or we would have 2 hours. Let's see, we met from 9 till 11:30. So we had 2.5 hours to do the project that he told us about. And then from 11:30 to noon, he took each one of our projects and put it on the board and critiqued it in front of everybody. But
Which he's very good at.
yes, he's very good at. And if you didn't follow directions, you knew you had erred.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting time. But nobody knew whose it was up there. We didn't name him, which was really kind. So these are different things. This was kind of supposed to flow into soft colors and kind of give you the feel. His whole thing is about colors flowing into each other. So I'll just pass these around if you want to see them, and if not, no big deal. This one was done the same way except with dark. So you were supposed to find interesting shapes to go with the dark. He liked these two. This one took me forever to do. We were supposed to do tints and shades of paint, and for someone who's never painted, that was an interesting proposition. So I learned a lot about shading and whatever. There were also 2 other designs here and here, so I ran out of time, and so I painted over the designs, and he liked this one. Now this one was what he called collage, and we did a lot of gluing on these. He liked everything but this one and really said that was horrible.
Which one?
The black and white?
Black.
Black and
Yeah,
white?
it was because it was black and white. And see, the thing about this is,
Well, it's not his color.
but he had come over and helped me with this.
Oh,
And he didn't tell me that while we were sitting.
Oh, this is pieced.
So,
Okay.
yeah, everything's pieced. And then this one was to be as bright as you could. So that was fun. He liked this one. Now this one, I had a different here. He didn't like this one until I put this down, and he liked it. So we just did all sorts of things.
Wow.
And
Did you do any sewing?
no, none whatsoever. The other project, I didn't bring my cell phone, but the other project was we had to put up a design wall, and he only uses gray. You don't use white. You use gray for your design wall. And we cut, and I wish I had my AccuQuilt, because all we had to do was cut 4-inch squares of 17 colors. And our directions for coming to class was to bring 10.5 yards of fabric, water jars for paints, paintbrushes, glue stick, scissors, and a whole host of other things. So if you can imagine packing 10.5 yards of fabric in sizes from 2.5 inch to 10 inch, going through your
In
stash
different
to do
sizes?
that. Yes, in different
different
sizes.
Pieces.
So then we get to the seminar and find out that direction should have been 10 half-inch cuts.
Oh, God.
Or, yes. So, or half-yard cuts. 10 half-yard cuts.
Oh,
So-
man, that would have been so much easier.
It would have been a lot easier. Now, do you know how much 10.5 yards takes up in a suitcase?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fabric. But anyway, the communication was a little sketchy. But spending time learning just about how color reacts. And so what we did with all these 4-inch squares was design them with, we started out with 1 square here and then 2 on the side, and it looked like a little kimono each time. But 17 of those making flowing from color to color to color. And then he would come around and we'd edit. And so he'd pull out colors and put these in. And this is how he designs. That's how he designs almost every quilt that he makes. And then we did a slideshow where he showed everything, like from nature to a chair cushion to everything that he designs with. And he said, anything you're looking at, he said, can be made into anything. And it just, his design process was so fascinating to me. And he is a fun-loving guy after class, because we did play bingo and charades with him, which was just fascinating. He loves games and he loves crosswords and all these things. But if you ever have a chance to do something like this, it was so intense. I was worn out from it. But I did get to walk around about 7 miles every day in Tucson. I would walk before the class, at lunch, and afterwards, because it's absolutely gorgeous there. It was 70s and sunny every single day. It was just glorious. But just to be with someone of that caliber, to see their design process. So there's a school called Madeline Island School of the Arts, which they have all these famous quilt people and sewing people and art people that do these types of seminars where you are really ensconced in just a very focused time to just look at color or art or whatever. And it was very worthwhile. So if you ever have a chance to do that, I didn't ask him how he thought about AccuQuilt though. I really wanted to ask him because all of his designs, I don't think he would ever use that kind of system. But it was pretty interesting to do this. So anyway, that's one of the things that.
What was your takeaway?
My takeaway was I'm not sure I would design this way. I really enjoyed the more geometric designing, but my take was that I look at color a little differently and how I see putting things together, which helps me here to help people with their quilts.
Right.
But I liked him a lot. I liked his directness. I mean, if you did it wrong, he wanted you to know. But from the critiques, you learned what he's looking at and how he's seeing things. I will never be at that level ever.
How big of a class was it?
There were 28 of us.
Okay.
So it was a
Wow,
pretty good
really?
size. Yeah, it's a good size class. But if you ever have a chance to do something like that, it's well worth the effort. And it's just so much fun. I think I had more fun walking, actually, because I was so focused all the time, relaxing, just to get, just to think about it, but then look at all the cactus and the different shapes and the different things. So you could kind of do, in exercising, do the same thing he was doing in class. But yeah, it was fun. And do you all have any questions or comments or anything? Yes.
I would like to ask to make those letters bigger on this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell
If
Joe.
you'll pass that on.
Okay.
Especially
Okay, so
on the
Jill.
next one, it's like it's gonna be pretty busy too.
Yes. Yeah. They are small, but it is fun. Yeah. After sitting there cutting 4-inch squares for a very long time, I thought, I wish I had brought my AccuQuilt to class.
Yeah, you could have had your a little one
I could have brought my little guy if I'd only known.
for 4-inch.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah.
Then you have to think about what die to bring. And then you,
Well, the 4-inch cube, and
but did you know that it was going to have
No.
to be cut into 4-inch cubes?
No.
So you'd have to bring several dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And his partner, Brandon, is quite interesting too. And the way I understand it, eventually we will be carrying his fabrics here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Brandon has designed a wonderful line of fabrics too, so, which I'm anxious to use in some of our AccuQuilt fabrics, patterns.
Did anybody ask him why his fabric is so much thinner than so many of the other quilt fabrics?
No, no one did ask, but it's very different.
It is very different. I don't know where who prints for him.
Well, Free Spirit.
Oh, okay.
And then he has, it's a team of he and Brandon and someone named Philip that they do all the designing.
Okay.
And every day of the workshop, he had a shirt on that he had made out of his fabric. So they're really good for wear too.
You know, that long fabric is really thin too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I have for today, unless you have questions.
Great class.